If you're gonna watch until the end of a video titled How to Hit Your Quota Each Time as an SDR, a couple things you're probably wondering up front. Is this guy trying to sell me anything? No, I'm not trying to sell you anything directly. I'm just here to ask you to take 1 second to go ahead and hit the like button below and subscribe to the channel for more sales video just like this. Number two, I actually work in sales. There's a lot of people on this platform that don't actually work in sales that are trying to give advice. I work in sales. I started my career as an SDR. I've made over 40,000 cold calls. If you check me out on LinkedIn, I post all of my quota attainment history, and you can see that I've hit my quota for the last 8 consecutive quarters. That's dating back over 2 years. When I was an SDR, I worked my way up the ranks and promoted to an account executive. I've hit my quota for literally 2 years in a row, and I was recently asked by a team lead of SDRs, and he said, "Hey Trent, can you come talk to my team about prospecting and everything they need to know to hit their quota, promote up the ranks, make more money, and find more success sooner rather than later?" So I've gathered my thoughts and put together 3 really simple principles and concepts that anyone can grasp that if you start doing today, you will begin to find more consistent and higher success in your sales job so that you can ultimately hit your quota each and every time. And by performing better in your sales job, you'll feel better as a person, you'll make more money, and your life will be better as a result. So why not watch until the end of this video? And if you're sold so far, make sure to smash the like button if you haven't already. It literally takes 1 second. Okay, thanks for doing that. Number 1 is structure your day to win. You gotta win each and every day as an SDR. You can let days go by where you maybe don't have a great day, but you cannot let days stack and weeks stack where you're not actually producing. A lot of people reach out saying, "Trent, how do you structure your day for maximum success as an SDR?" This is what you gotta do. You don't wanna overthink it. You don't need to block out every 10 minutes. You don't need to be one of those crazy productive, "Hey, I have a timer for calling. I have a timer for emails. I listen to podcasts XYZ when doing that." We're getting a little too deep into the weeds here. Here's what you do. As an SDR, what is your incentive and what does success look like? It looks like either generating meetings, making calls, booking demos, generating pipeline. Figure out whatever your success criteria is and then reverse engineer it. If you need to set 10 meetings per week, okay, let's think about that. Let me set 10 meetings. The top of the funnel. How many calls do I need to make in order to get XYZ people to answer the phone? Of those live conversations, how many meetings do I actually need to set? Of those meetings I set, how many people actually will show up? And you can reverse engineer your metrics to say, okay, this is how many calls I actually have to make, and then structure your day around that. Realize that the more people you prospect, the more accounts you go into, the more you use LinkedIn, the more you use Zoom Info, the more people you find. It's a numbers game, it's volume. It's like talking to girls. The more you talk to, the more success you're gonna have. Something I do not know very much about, which is why we're talking about sales, not dating. You wanna find a lot of people. You want to put those people in your sequences. You wanna send them emails. You wanna reach out to them on LinkedIn, and you wanna make calls. Calls, this is my ring finger, is the one area this team lead says, "Hey, my team's not really calling. They're just sending a lot of emails." Calls are really important. Cold calling is never going away. No matter how successful you become, no matter how high you move up in your organization, cold calling is never going away. Embrace calls, structure your day around finding people to call, sending those people emails, giving them calls, and then doing that each and every day consistently, and you will find more success, believe me. The second thing you need to do in order to hit your quota each time as an SDR is to approach each day with massive urgency. I know that this is a little bit subjective, and when I say urgency, you may be thinking, okay, what does urgency mean? How urgent is he? How fast does he reply to things? Here's what you gotta do. At all points throughout the day, I have my email up, and that may or may not lead to more productivity. As soon as things come in, I immediately address them. What I've actually started to do is my emails, rather than just letting thousands of emails just populate, I'll see an email. If I can address it within a minute or two, I'll immediately tackle it. If not, I'll save it and get back to it by the end of the day so that I can clearly see in my emails, what are the top priority tasks? What do I need to do? And here's the difference between people who are average and people who are really great. I can tell by the way they message internally, but when something happens, how quickly do you respond to it? What level of care do you put into the messaging? Paying attention to the details means being urgent. As soon as a warm lead comes in, you call it immediately. You don't think twice. As soon as you have the opportunity, you smell blood in the water, you get someone on the call, immediately send them that invite. As soon as you have your meetings, send out those reminders. It's all about the urgency. It's all about the mindset you approach the task. And you want to make sure to really have your buttons tied up. I don't know if that term makes sense, but you got to be super urgent. You got to be proactive, and you just got to care more than other people. And I know it's easy to talk about that, but in practice, you can think, oh, I'm going to be so motivated. But when you actually sit down at your desk, when you go into your office, how urgent are you? How focused are you? How serious are you taking the task at hand, no matter how big or small? Approach each and every task with great urgency, and believe me, it will pay off. The third thing you need to do in order to find more success as an SDR and hit your quota each and every time is follow this quote right here. I really like it. It was said by the former, I think he might still be the Intel CEO. It says, success breeds failure. Success breeds complacency. Complacency breeds failure. Only the paranoid survive. Think about that. As an SDR, you'll start to find success. You'll start to hit your quota because you'll follow these 2 tips you just learned. Structure your day to win each day. Be consistent. Approach each day with urgency. You'll start doing that. You'll start to hit your quota. You'll start to have more success. And this is the biggest thing I struggle with as an SDR. I would hit my monthly quota. It would lead up to my quarterly quota, and I was set. I would go into quarter sometimes already of hitting quota, thinking I have no pressure. It doesn't matter how I perform. It's just all about the money. Success breeds complacency. Complacency is that feeling when you say, you know what, I've done enough today. I'm in a good spot. I'm beating other people. I'm happy where I'm at. As soon as you start to get complacent, that is when it will lead to your failure, because you'll start to slip. You'll start to not be as urgent. You'll start to not pay attention to the details. You'll start to care a little bit less. And when you're not out there going full speed, you're not going to get the loose balls. You're not going to score those buckets that otherwise you would be scoring if you're trying really hard. You're making your calls. You're setting your days up for success. You got to make sure to always keep that edge. And that edge is approaching each day like your life depends on it. It looks like doing the activities that lead to your success. Making calls, sending emails, finding more people to call, doing self-development. And if you do those things well, you will hit your quota each and every time as an SDR. Sales is an execution game. You need to have some skill. It's ultimately an execution game. And if you think about how many calls you need to make that will lead to how many meetings you set, that will lead to people showing up, that will lead to actual meetings that add to your quota. That's all you got to do. It's an execution game. You control your output, you control your attitude, you control those inputs and variables. So as long as you go out and execute, sales is binary. Either you decide to put in the work and execute, or you don't. And if you're one of the 50% who don't, you're wasting your potential, and it's actually quite selfish. So I really hope that this video here today is going to help steer you back on track and give you some tactical advice to actually go out and execute in your sales job. If you learned something new today, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to leave me a comment down below. There's so many people trying to teach sales that don't actually work in sales, or trying to sell you something, and I'm not either of the two. I just want to talk about my experiences. I want to help you. I want to help you find more success. Go out, make your calls. Thanks so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.